If you're planning on having hip replacement surgery, you're probably wondering if physical therapy is necessary in your recovery. In this video, I'm going to discuss some of the specific things that physical therapy will help you recover with, and I'm going to talk about the consequences if you choose to skip physical therapy after having a total hip replacement. I'm Matt Sigua, a doctor of physical therapy, and I've treated hundreds of patients who had a total hip replacement. And if you're wanting to learn more about hip replacements in general related to physical therapy, please subscribe to the channel to learn more. One of the first things that physical therapy is super crucial for is teaching you your post-operative precautions. So what does that mean? So post-operative or post-op precautions, that essentially is referring to the movements and positions that you must avoid directly after your surgery. There's a timeline, so typically it's from day 0 up to possibly 4 to 6 weeks, depending on your recovery and the surgeon's protocols. But there's a short time that you need to avoid certain movements and positions. And now these positions and movements are specific based on what type of approach your surgeon performed the surgery. So there are a few different approaches, but in general, they're referring to the direction. So one of the more common approaches is the anterior or the front approach. So that means they're doing the incision on the front side of your hip. The other common one is on the back side. So they're going through like the glute muscles, but the most common one is the anterior approach. So whether you're doing from the front or from the back, that surgery, the direction, the post-op precautions are going to be very different in terms of what you strictly have to avoid. So during pre-op, so before the surgery, and directly post-op, typically they'll provide you with educational resources. Sometimes they'll give you a surgical packet of things to expect, and also a copy of some of the post-op precautions that give you a reminder of the positions and the movements that you need to avoid. But not everyone reads these, and also just because you read them, there are certain real life situations and scenarios that may apply to some of these movements and positions that you may not realize you're breaking, because then if you just look at a picture or if you just read the description of some of these precautions, they may not be super clear to every application when you're doing your daily movements. So that's why physical therapy is very important, to have one of the clinicians, the therapists, come in to teach you, okay, these are your positions and movements that you need to avoid absolutely, and these are the real life scenarios that people often break these precautions and end up causing more tissue damage, more inflammation, more swelling, because they weren't able to translate what the packet said into their full daily movement. So that's one of the most important things that physical therapists will teach you directly after your surgery. That's the post-op precautions. Second thing are how to transfer safely when you're getting in and out of the bed, in and out of a chair. So just general transfers in your day-to-day. So right after the surgery, we talked about the post-op precautions of the movements and positions you have to avoid. This comes into play with how to transfer, but additionally, you're going to be using an assist device. So typically it's a walker and then eventually maybe a cane, but you're going to start off with some sort of walker that you're going to use to help you walk, to help you stand, and also help you sit down. So there are specific techniques that you have to use to not only abide by those post-operative precautions, but also to make it easier and more pain-free to transition from the bed, the chair, the toilet. And there are ways that as physical therapists, we can show you to use the most amount of efficiency and the appropriate muscles and appropriate hand placement, foot placement, those types of specific things that will make it much of a easier transition for you. So this kind of takes out the guessing work for a lot of patients, where they can try to figure out, okay, maybe if I put my hand over here, or try different things, but it's all a guess, and if you do it incorrectly, that could lead to more pain and inflammation. But the main thing is we just take the guesswork out. We teach you how to do it most efficiently, so it's easier for you, and that you can have less reliance on caregivers, on family members. The goal is we try to get you as independent as possible with these transfers. So helping you to use the correct techniques for transfers is also one of the main things that physical therapists will help you with directly after surgery. Next is how to manage your symptoms appropriately. So obviously after the surgery, you're going to have your list of medications that you're typically going to comply with, that your surgeon and your doctors will give you to help manage your pain, your swelling, inflammation, all that type of stuff. But there are other things that we want to be on top of that will help further manage your symptoms. So in general, different positioning, elevation, maintaining icing protocols. Now, with that being said, sometimes patients will not have the full understanding of, okay, how long do I need to ice? How often do I have to switch out ice packs? What if I have an ice machine? Is this elevation high enough? Is this too low? Is this too high? Is this in a bad position that's gonna make my hip more uncomfortable as soon as I stand up? So another thing is as you're going to be increasing your movement after the surgery, like day by day, week by week, how much is too much in terms of physical activity, exercise, and movement that will eventually cause more swelling or discomfort? Like how specifically do I know that it's safe to do more without increasing the symptoms? So that's one of the things that physical therapists will help you determine and judge based specifically on an individual's presentation and their current function, because every person is going to be a little bit different in terms of how much they can tolerate with movement and exercise. So symptom management is going to be one of the other things that is going to be carefully walked through right after surgery with your physical therapist. Additionally, doing the correct exercise after surgery at the correct time is going to be essential to facilitating your recovery as quickly as possible. So with exercise, everyone knows that, you have to perform some type of exercise and rehab and movements and walking after surgery. But knowing when a certain movement, a certain exercise is appropriate at any given time is what's going to make the difference between you increasing your pain and inflammation and being bedbound for the rest of the day because you're so flared up, and you being able to tolerate and improve your movement, improve your strength, turning on a lot of these muscles that become dormant after this type of procedure, because it is a pretty invasive surgery. So the physical therapist is going to be that movement expert that is able to gauge your specific strength, function, pain levels, your body, so that you can appropriately do the correct exercise at any given time after surgery. So you're not just you're not shooting in the dark. You're not having to guess, okay, maybe I can do this exercise now. There's specific protocols, and then we try to follow those protocols according to how a person's body and symptoms are presenting. So exercise prescription is going to be one of the most important things that physical therapists will guide you through after this procedure. All right, lastly is gait training, or retraining you on how to walk again. So after this type of surgery, because you're going to be in more pain, you're going to be relying on an assistive device, so a walker or a cane. Your gait, your walking mechanics are going to be altered because you have more pain and inflammation. Some of these muscles are going to be kind of dormant or shut off because of this, the invasiveness of this surgery. So we're going to have to work on your range of motion, turning on these muscles, making sure that your actual mechanics are correct, because right after surgery, a lot of times what you'll see is patients will have to limp, or they'll walk with less weight bearing or less weight on that surgical leg, just to make sure that they're not increasing pain and inflammation. They're gonna naturally walk a little more tender or gingerly or light on that surgical leg. So we have to retrain the mechanics of your walking, of your gait, so that in the long run you're able to get the normal range of motion and strength that allows you to appropriately walk, especially without an assistive device. For the individuals who didn't have a walker or cane prior to the surgery, the goal is that we're able to discharge you without having to rely on a walker or a cane, and without walking with a limp. So that's going to be one of the most important things to get you back to normal function, is working on your gait mechanics, and that has to be done specifically with a physical therapist to make sure you're doing the appropriate exercise, the appropriate technique when it comes to walking at the right time, so you're not pushing it too quick right after surgery.